Now, a moment ago, we did hear about Greg Petersmeyer. It was his vision that helped create a lasting way to recognize individuals whose service strengthens our communities, and that was, of course, and is the Daily Point of Light Award. Through this award, Points of Light first met Dynasty Taylor, whose service journey continues to inspire. Dynasty has faced challenges with courage and with resilience, turning her experience into a powerful force for others. In 2014, she founded Dynasty's United Youth Association, or DUYA, to uplift youth in Los Angeles through educational, career, and mental health services. Her work is creating ripple effects, transforming young lives and inspiring volunteers to discover new purpose for their own futures. Dynasty is a shining example of what President George H.W. Bush envisioned when he spoke of 1,000 points of light, spread like stars throughout the nation, doing good. Dynasty, your light is unmistakable, and it helps others find their own.
I grew up in Baldwin Village, and I lived on a street where there was like multiple buildings, and that is where I started to teach students how to read and write. I would sit them on the stairs, and then we would kind of like tear out pages from books, but that was my first encounter with learning how to kind of create an impact in the community. I didn't even know I was giving back. I just enjoyed working with children, and I enjoyed like working with people and giving back that way. The community I grew up in was a poverty-stricken environment, so there was not a lot of hope. There was a lot of single-parent families. There was a lot of fathers who were not present, and we were kind of centered around a lot of substance abuse. So therefore, I felt that it was important at the age of 10 to do something that just made people feel good, and I think that gave us something to live for. It gave us something to look forward to, and just to see the smiles on people's faces, the interaction, and just the positivity in this type of environment was really important at that time. When I finally made it to graduation, it was a reflective moment that happened to me that said, a lot of people are not going to make it here. And it wasn't by accident that I made it here. But it's no way that I'm just going to be successful and not go back and help others do the same. First, it was just like, oh, I want to cultivate this learning environment. Now it's like more direct. My mission is to empower underserved youth to rise from poverty to prosperity. So as the organization grew, I was growing along with it. And that kind of cultivated this idea of creating this nonprofit. So you had a few nonprofits back at that time. You had the YMCA. That was one of the most popular nonprofits, and then you had the Boys and Girls Club. And what I noticed is that we needed more culturally responsive programs. We needed people with more lived experience that can help cultivate programs that were more meaningful and accessible to the populations we were serving. We seen a lot of like savior mentalities coming into the community to support our students, and we needed more people that look like the people that they usually see every day. So I felt like, because of my trials and tribulations, I thought I'd be the perfect person to come through and be able to help. I didn't have the mentality of coming to save. It was all about transformation. It was all about being a role model that can give people perspective to see themselves differently and see the world differently. Volunteering has been a change for my life. It's given me purpose, and it allows me to touch other people to also give them purpose. You're basically changing the mentality around what leadership actually looks like, regardless of what age you are, and you're also changing the mentality around just having a career to actually give back to your community and do something more positive. Points of Light shows that volunteering is a necessity and it's necessary for people to thrive. They connect to a lot of organizations, rather if they're for-profit or non-profit, to be able to do the same thing. And I think it just creates a positive chain reaction of folks giving back. It is amazing that I have been chosen to do the work that I am doing. It is amazing to see the impact of other people who want to do great things. That is the real humanitarian connection, is people come into this world and finding out who they are, what their purpose is, and then using that purpose to basically give back to other people who need to find that as well. That is how we continue the cycle. If we're not doing this, then how are we actually leading? And you don't have to be a CEO to lead. You just have to have a good heart and want to see great in other people outside of yourself.
Welcome 2025 George H.W. Bush Points of Light Award honoree, Dynasty Taylor.
Wow. Good evening. I want to start by personally thanking each of you for being here tonight to celebrate us. I stand here today on the shoulders of every volunteer who has made a difference through acts of service and kindness. Growing up, my parents were not actively present in my life. I relied heavily on the people and mentors around me, such as my grandmother, my church community, my teachers, and the volunteers and internships that shaped my path. It's true what they say. It takes a village to raise a child. And through DUYA, that village now supports over 750 youth every year. Guided by people with lived experiences from our own community. Once upon a time, I was lost. I was hopeless, with no direction for where my life was going. But through my volunteer experiences in college, I found my light. This light has carried me forward ever since, showing me the way to founding DUYA, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering underserved youth to rise from poverty to prosperity through education, workforce development, and mentorship. I learned early from my grandmother the power of human connection, how she would greet everyone she encountered, from the mailman to the post office clerk to the trash collector to even a stranger on the street. And she's actually here with me tonight. Along with my middle school sweetheart. She showed me that every act of kindness, no matter how small, matters. Even when my parents could not be there, her love and nurturance reminded me that support and guidance comes in many forms. Each person in this room has, in your own way, extended a hand when it was needed, offered grace to someone facing challenges, and given your own time and energy to lift others up. No act of service ever goes unnoticed. Every humanitarian effort contributes to a better world, a better humanity. Volunteering is no longer just an idea for us. It's necessary. It is a responsibility, it is an obligation. If we want to build stronger communities and build futures for the next generations, this is what we will have to do. Thank you all again for taking the time, which is one of the most valuable currencies we have, to recognize DUYA's work. And may we all continue to carry the light of volunteering, to help others find their light, and to spread the light across our communities and across the world. Last but not least, because when we shine together, the world will shine brighter. Thank you.